Hello everyone, and welcome to Channel 13 Taylor Swift News Hour. I am your host, Tiffany Tremolaris, with a very important segment today. If you live under a rock, you wouldn't know that Taylor Swift, on April 26th, released her long-awaited new single, Me, featuring Brendon Urie of Panic at the Disco. This amazing, well-thought-out, beautifully written, upbeat song has been causing much a stir in the Taylor Swift community. What does it all mean? What does it signify in terms of her 7th album? Will we ever know what's in her mind? Why does she keep teasing us? Why is she sending us on a wild goose chase? Well, I can tell you why. It's because she's Taylor Swift and she's a genius, and she knows that we just love finding everything out. But if you don't know all of the clues or you're having trouble putting everything together, I am here for you, Tiffany Tremolaris, reporting for Taylor Swift News Channel 13. Please do not turn off the television. Please stay tuned for the entire video, as today we will be investigating the extreme, elusive Me music video to give you all of the clues, all of the hints, all of the Easter eggs that you need to know to give you the insight into Taylor Swift's mind and her much-awaited 7th studio album. So, are you ready for it? Okay people, Taylor Swift does not waste any time. There is a clue that I found right off the bat. Actually, multiple clues. So, if you look at the title screen, first of all, the first thing that jumps out to me is the fact that it's a very retro font vibe. Okay, retro, what does retro mean? If anyone knows, during Taylor Swift's Red era, she dressed in a very vintage style. A lot of the things that she did were very reminiscent of retro times. She dressed in a lot of tea dresses. Also, the second thing I find is the fact that it has a red drop shadow. I don't think that's a coincidence, especially considering that so much of the rest of the music video is just all in pastel colors. Why red? Why this color? The third thing that jumps out to me is the fact that the font that they used for the Me makes the E look distinctly like a number 3. Also, the exclamation point could be the number 1. What does that turn out to upside down? The number 13. Then you have the letter M, which if you flip upside down could be a letter W. 13. W. 13 weeks. 13 weeks after April 26th puts you at July 13th. July 13th is a stamp on her calendar. That means an album could be released on July 13th. Moving on. Okay, we've got a snake. Obviously referring to the snake in Reputation. There you go, people. Did you just see that? Did you just see that? The snake turns into butterflies. Taylor Swift is morphing from the Reputation era into her new era. She is no longer referring to her entire brand as a snake because some person who shall not be named called her a snake and made everyone think she was a snake for no reason based on unfactual evidence. And now she's turning into butterflies, which is her true self. Butterflies symbolize metamorphosis, growing, beauty. Also, one more clue. If you didn't know, which I just learned yesterday, a group of butterflies is called a kaleidoscope. Keep that in mind. We'll get back to that later. They are speaking in French. That's important to note. There is a Christmas tree in the background. There are many theories regarding the Christmas tree. One is that she grew up on a Christmas tree farm. So, could it have something to do with the album being called Home, going back to her roots? I don't think the album is called Home. A lot of people do. But I think it could be symbolizing something else. She also said in her live stream on Instagram, the Christmas tree may or may not be a clue, which means it's a clue. Je suis calm. I think that could have something to do with a title of a song, something. In a Tumblr post that Taylor replied to, she said that she is waiting for things to calm down before she releases any more official statements to us. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that has something to do with the emphasis on calm down in this clip. Also, let's rewind a little bit. Her dress looks very, very, very similar to the dress that she wore while singing Treacherous on the Red tour. But this dress is obviously elevated with the butterflies and the flowers. What does that mean? I think that she's also, again, hinting at Red vibes, but with an elevated twist. I think that this album could be a country pop album like Red really was, but with an updated, elevated twist to it. Okay, jump, right there. That is a huge clue because Taylor Swift posted on her Instagram story yesterday a screen grab of the part of her jumping over this smoke. And I never think before I jump, and she added extra U's and it was in all capitals, but she didn't do that for like any other parts of the song. So I think that could be a huge factor, is jump the name of a song. I don't think it would be an album title. I think there's some significance to this part and the word jump. She also said in her Instagram live that there was a huge shout out clue while she's in the first hallway scene. Also, let's rewind a little bit. There's something that you might not have seen if this is the first time you watch the video. But if you watch the video, how many times have I watched this video? The limit does not exist. Too many times, like me, you will start to notice things that you did not notice the first 20 times. Right there, do you see that? Right there, do you see that? Palm trees outside of the window. There are palm trees outside of the window. Taylor Swift's first post welcoming us into this new era was that photo of 7 palm trees. What's peculiar though is that you see palm trees outside of this window, but yet when she goes outside, there are no palm trees. She is not in Los Angeles or any setting that would have palm trees, okay? Right there, do you see that? Do you see that? There's a lot of cool chicks out there. There is a photo of the Dixie Chicks. Okay, did you know that? Did you know that in her Elle article, she was talking about how she loves that music can bring you back to different times of your life. The first clue that has now been confirmed was she was saying that she loved listening with Abigail to Panic at the Disco when they were teenagers, and how she still thinks back when she listens to that song, it brings her back to that time in her life. Now she's collaborating with Brendon Urie of Panic at the Disco. Then she also noted the Dixie Chicks, okay, in that article. Now there's a photo of the Dixie Chicks on the wall. I think that means that the next collab could be with the Dixie Chicks. Right there, here's the next clue. There are 13 clouds. Taylor Swift said to count the clouds and the briefcases. There are 13 clouds. This could mean a couple of different things. There are 13 songs on the album. 13 clouds, maybe that has some kind of significance, maybe it's a lyric somewhere. Also combined with the number of briefcases, which you will see later as 13, further confirming our theory of the album being released on July 13th. That means she went psycho on the phone. Oh, I'm sorry, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now because she's dead. Okay, that was a little dramatic. She's noting that now, but now she's like, we're moving on, okay? When she says trouble's gonna follow where I go, I think that's another kind of nod to the Red album, I Knew You Were Trouble. What are those shadows? Okay, I've been really investigating. I'm kind of torn on what those shadows look like. I think they kind of look like a cat. I think they kind of look like maybe a unicorn, like going up like this. Maybe it's a catacorn. Here's something that I found that I don't think anyone has connected the dots to, okay? I think this could be a really great theory. There's 3 red books on the table. Red books, okay? Another note to the Red era. But what is the only legible title of the book? The first book that says Cartier. Now, you might just think, oh, Cartier, what does that have to do with anything? I knew that there had to be a reason that she put a Cartier book on there. She could have just put red books. She could have put anything. Why is it a Cartier book? I don't think it's just because she likes Cartier, okay, people? I don't think she's Kylie Jenner. So I went to Google. I did a little investigative skills, and I went on Google. And I said, what does Cartier mean? What does Cartier symbolize? Okay, Cartier could stand for Jacques Cartier, who was a French explorer who claimed the region for France. Now that doesn't seem like much of a coincidence to me that they were speaking French in the beginning of the video, and now she has a Cartier book and Jacques Cartier claimed the region for France, okay? Also, Cartier could also be a synonym or an older term for a navigator. I think I'm onto something, people. I think I'm onto something. Next, we have Taylor and her dancers all in suits. She's looking very businesswoman special, okay? But if you notice, she's the only one wearing a yellow suit. Why? I looked up, what does the color yellow symbolize? Yellow, the color of sunshine, hope, and happiness, has conflicting associations. On one hand, yellow stands for freshness, happiness, positivity, clarity, energy, optimism, enlightenment, remembrance, intellect, honor, loyalty, and joy. But on the other, it could represent cowardice and deceit. A dull or dingy yellow may represent caution. So, here's the thing. She's wearing yellow. It's not the brightest yellow. So yellow represents her optimism, her joy, her happiness, her hope coming into this new era. But then it also could be, on the other hand, people were deceitful against her in the past, which caused reputation. Again, why are they all in suits? Why wasn't it a dress? Why is this the only part of the song where she's wearing something that's not like super feminine? There are certain terms regarding the word yellow. And one of them, the phrase yellow journalism, is in reference to bad or irresponsible reporting. People throughout her entire career have been saying false things about her in the media. Blank Space was a nod to all of the people saying that she was a serial dater and tracked all these men. Then we had the whole false reporting on the whole Kim and Kanye incident, okay? On to something. Right here. So she said the lyric, one of these things is not like the other. If you look, there are 2 pink suitcases. There are 2 yellow suitcases. There are 2 lavender violet suitcases. But for some reason, there's only 1 coral suitcase. If you didn't know, Living Coral is Pantone's 2019 color of the year. There's a lot of significance around the color coral. Let me read you what Pantone says. Living Coral emits the desired, familiar, and energizing aspects of color found in nature, and its glorious, yet unfortunately more elusive, display beneath the sea. This vivifying, effervescent color mesmerizes the eye and mind. Lying at the center of our naturally vivid and chromatic ecosystem, Pantone Living Color is evocative of how coral reefs provide shelter to a diverse kaleidoscope of color. Also, it's important to note that the coral suitcase comes to the front of the screen. Right there, you see that? Right there, you see that? The clock is set to 8:30. Now some people are thinking 8:30, that must be a date. 8:30, August 30th, maybe the album's coming August 30th. No, people, that doesn't make sense to me. You wanna know why? Because here are the stamps in her calendar. There was a stamp on April 26th. There was a stamp on May 13th. I think that's the next single drop. There is a stamp on July 13th. I think that's the album drop. There is a stamp on August 13th. And then there's a stamp also on December 13th. Okay, December 13th is Taylor Swift's birthday. Okay, she is turning 30 this year. I have been thinking this entire time that she's releasing 2 albums this year. I think the first album she's releasing is going to be what TS6 was supposed to be before Reputation, because we all just now realize that in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, when she's in the back on the plane, on the wing of the plane says TS6, she saws it off. Then she writes in spray paint over top of the plane, Reputation. Then someone pointed out on Twitter that there's a line in Endgame, Reputation precedes me. And you know, that could be a play on words. I think Reputation precedes me. I think she had me written before Reputation was supposed to come out. And I think she had me written as part of her 6th studio album, which would have come out in 2016 and would have already been teed up and written before Kim and Kanye attacked her and tried to destroy her, but she rose up from that. So I think that she could be releasing her 8th studio album on her 30th birthday on December 13th. I think she's releasing a 7th album, which is actually TS6 in July, which is why we're getting this unusual summer album. And then I think she's releasing her 8th studio album on her 30th birthday in December. If she also did that, she would dominate the Grammys 2 years in a row, because this timeline gives us enough time to be nominated for the 2020 Grammys, whereas if she were to release her 8th studio album in December 2019, that would qualify for the 2021 Grammys. Also, the sky that she's in, it all looks like a kaleidoscope. Some people were saying it could be a chrysalis, which is like the inside of the cocoon where the butterflies have to come out of, but I also think it could be a kaleidoscope because there's so many rainbows and a kaleidoscope makes a rainbow effect. Right here, there are 15 people falling from the sky, which I think could mean 15 tracks on the album. Next, we see Lover is in neon pink, a neon sign right there. I do think that, what I just realized is that the O is a heart. This ties into one of the theories for the album names that I was going to get into later regarding hearts, but I think this further verifies it. I didn't realize it before. Lover is such, at first everyone was like, Lover, that must be the next single name or the album name, but she wrote on Twitter, she's like, there is the major clue that reveals the album name and I haven't seen anyone guess it. So I was like, it can't be Lover because so many people have been guessing Lover, it's so obvious. But there's a heart where the O is for Lover. I think that could tie into the whole like heart either being a single name or the album name. Also, she is dripping in pink. I've also noticed that there is a lot of different shades of pink, which made me believe, could it be something regarding La Vie en Rose? La Vie en Rose is a French term, tying into the French thing, that means living life through rose-colored glasses, meaning seeing the world in such a positive light. No matter what's being said about you, no matter what's going on, you see it with rose-colored glasses and you just see it through the eyes of positivity. So I think something could have to do with that. Also, if you look, this kind of looks like the whole Begin Again setting. Her Begin Again music video was shot in Paris, and there's a scene where she's sitting and you can see this whole like Parisian skyline. I think that has something to do, again, tying back into the Red era. So when she says, when we had that fight out in the rain, you ran after me and called my name, I immediately thought of the song Mine from Speak Now, where she says, I remember that fight 2:30 a.m. when everything was something right out of my head. I ran out crying and you followed me out into the street. I think that has some sort of parallel. Again, meaning this could be like a country pop album. Also, people are like, who are these 4 guys? A lot of people are thinking they represent all of the 4 members of the Fray. And she did mention in her Elle article, again, listening to How to Save a Life by the Fray. So I think that could be a potential collab. The cat is of very much significance because she just revealed yesterday, after the release of the music video, that she did indeed get a new kitten, and his name is Benjamin Button. Okay, this further proves my theory of this album was what TS6 was supposed to be. Benjamin Button is the whole idea of aging backwards, going back in time, going from older to younger. I think this means that though this is now 3 years ahead of when TS6 would have come out and now past Reputation, I think it could be an ode to going back in time and her kind of releasing the music that was supposed to be TS6 that got put to the side for Reputation. And I think that means, like, you're aging backwards. I'm gonna give you guys what was going on 3 years ago in my life, because we have that big chunk of time missing between her being in the 1989 era and 2016, where that whole chunk of her life, there's music missing about what she was going through, because we have to remember, 1989 was the time of her life. She was literally on top of the world. She went from being a country artist who was still very, very, very popular to being the #1 artist in the entire world when she shifted to pop. So I think this is a significant detail, meaning that she's kind of going back in time and is going to give us that album that was supposed to be TS6. Right there, you see how he opens up his jacket? There's a heart there and it opens up into a kaleidoscope. That is a nod to a 1989 Welcome to New York lyric, Kaleidoscope of Loud Heartbeats Under Coats. Okay, this now ties into heart and kaleidoscope, also referring to that this song would have been written while she was on the 1989 tour or during that era, while that song is fresh in her mind. Then it kind of inspired her with this, with the Me song, and I think that means there's some connection between a kaleidoscope and a heart. Okay, in this scene there are a lot of angels. There are some theories that a song is going to be called Angels because she capitalized angels in an Instagram caption a while back. She sang the song Angels with whoever sings it on her when she brought out the special guests on stage. And now there's all these angels in this scene. Also, if you notice on Taylor Swift's dress, she's wearing a heart. Again, tying back into the whole heart idea. Okay, the spelling is fun aspect is very interesting to me. There has to be some reason she's saying that. I think it would be a little out of the box if there's not a big clue with it. Also, this outfit looks like her little band outfit from You Belong With Me. Again, I think a nod to kind of going back in time, kind of bringing back roots of country. And again, like she said, one of these things is not like the other. I think Me is maybe super, super poppy and the rest of the album could be country pop. Here's the thing that I find peculiar. I-team. There's no I in team, but you know there is a me. But then they write out I in team, okay? Also later, again, I in team. Again, I in team, okay? Why would it be written out like that if it's like a negatory statement? There is no I in team, so why is it written out I in team? It doesn't say no I in team, it says I in team. Actually, my boyfriend Harris came out with a genius idea. If you add the letter I to the letters T-E-A-M, what could that come up with? If you combine it, what can you turn it around to? Well, if you add the letter I to T-E-A-M, and if you rearrange the letters, it could be Tem, T-A-I-M-E. Je t'aime means I love you. So there's no I in team, but there is a me, meaning me, I, okay? Je t'aime, I love you. I think that could be a huge significant part, especially since there's so much nods to French language and France in this whole music video. I don't know if that's a lyric, a song, I don't know if that'd be an album title, but it could also be a nod back to the term heart, like love. Okay, right there. So a lot of people notice that there is the US Capitol and the Big Ben, which I think symbolizes her being an American citizen, her boyfriend Joe Alwyn is a UK citizen, okay? But then there's also this other building to the left of those two. And I was like, what is that? I was like, it looks very French, it looks very Gothic. So I was looking up different French historic landmarks. And to me, it really looks like the Tour Saint-Jacques in Paris, okay? Now let me tell you what it is. It says it's a 16th century Gothic tower, historically a stop on the pilgrimage route to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. It's been closed to the public for most of its 500-year history. The tower is all that remains of the medieval Church of Saint Jacques de la Boucherie, which was pillaged and destroyed by French revolutionaries in the late 18th century. So this bell tower, which is the only part of it that still exists, was spared for its beauty and possibly to be used as a watchtower to stop the capital's frequent and deadly fires. Oh, I think that could be some sort of nod to the whole French aspect of it all. I don't know what it all means. I don't know if there's French lyrics in it. I don't know if this means that she's going to be doing much more of a world tour. Maybe she's going to be shooting another music video in France. Maybe she's going to be doing concerts in France. And I don't think she has done a concert in France since the Red era. If this is the tower that I'm thinking it is, and if this means that the bell tower was the only part that was spared after the rest of it was pillaged and burned down, maybe that means kind of symbolizing like her still being strong and there, and despite her whole reputation being brought down, her beauty, her legacy is still there after all of these years. I think that could be something. Here's something that I don't think anyone has realized. She's wearing cowgirl boots in this scene. No one has pointed this out. I pointed this out on Twitter. But why would she suddenly be wearing cowgirl boots when that doesn't fit into any part of the other costuming, okay? She's wearing cowgirl boots, but then yet she's in this whole Technicolor, futuristic, very like dancey pop vibes setting. Again, I think this means it's an ode to country pop. I think that means the album is gonna be country pop, okay? Cowgirl boots, country, but still incorporating all of these like more elevated pop levels. It's not just gonna be a strictly country album. Again, I think it would be like red country pop. Also, it looks like she's in a kaleidoscope in this setting as well, this whole Technicolor kaleidoscope. Here I think is interesting. There's all these rainbow paint splatters in the sky. I think this could mean a couple of things. First of all, she's made it very clear before that she likes to paint pictures for people with her lyrics so that you can kind of have a sight into where she was in her life, the setting into the song. She likes to be very descriptive and paint pictures with her lyrics. I think this could also be an ode to coming back to the Red Era, because the Red Era was so lyrically masterful. Everything really painted a picture. Just think All Too Well, Begin Again, Treacherous. Those were all very meticulously written lyrics. Again, I also think the dancing in this like rain of rainbows, I think could be a difference from, in Fearless she says, with you I dance in the rain in my best dress fearless. Then in the Delicate music video, she's dancing in the rain. Here she's dancing in rainbows. So I think it's like her kind of like morphing and growing and elevating, and now she's learned to accept that it doesn't matter if it's raining, it's all what you make of it, and she's just out there in the rainbows and the colors and just living life and loving it. Also, I think it's important to note that this dress looks very similar to the Out of the Woods dress, and then the dress that she wore in the opening of Look What You Made Me Do video. In the Out of the Woods music video, the end of it was she lost him, but she found herself, and somehow that was everything. I think because that was kind of her like saying that even though she had lost that guy she was with, she found herself, and that was better than that. But I think now it could be, now that this dress is kind of melting into these rainbows, and she's got this guy here who is kind of helping paint the sky with her, and then also bringing out an umbrella to help shield her from all the paint coming down. I think it means that she's finally with someone who she is still completely herself, but yet someone who celebrates her and loves her for who she is and isn't trying to change her in any way. I think it's also important to note that yesterday on the premiere of the video, the suggested video at the end of it on the YouTube end screen was mine. Today, the suggested video was Delicate. Those are the two videos I was referencing, mine earlier and then Delicate. I think that's something important to note, like another little clue. Okay, so now that we've gotten through all of the clues in the video, let's just recap on what could possibly be single names or album names. Again, I think Kaleidoscope is the biggest clue. I think Kaleidoscope is either a single name or maybe it's an album name. I think that would be a really cool album name, the Kaleidoscope World Tour. I mean, that's so cool. Also, another symbolism could be heart, okay? I think it's either heart or heartbeat. First of all, we've got the heart in Lover. We've got the heart under his coat going into the kaleidoscope. So I think heart would really go hand in hand with Kaleidoscope. So I think either maybe the album name is Kaleidoscope or the single name is Kaleidoscope and the heart is, or heartbeat is the album name, or it's the single name. I don't know, people. I think there's obviously some huge significance on the whole French aspect of it all, from her speaking French to the Cartier book to the Tower of Saint Jacques, okay? I think that has to mean something. Also, the whole Begin Again set. Also, it looks like she's in Paris in this whole thing, okay? Like, it looks like she's in a kaleidoscope of Paris. If you have any theories of your own, please comment. If you want to share this video on Twitter, on Instagram, on Tumblr, on Facebook, please tag Taylor Swift. Maybe she'll see it, you know? That'd be kind of crazy if she sees this video. I hope she does. Okay, Taylor, if you're watching this, please tell me if something is right. Please tell me if I didn't just come up with all of these theories that aren't anything, because if I spent the past 50,000 hours watching this video a million times, inspecting every little thing, and I was just like going too far and reading too far into it, okay? I don't know what I would do. Please confirm. Can you confirm, please? Confirm? Hello, Taylor. Can we get you for comment right now? Can you comment? No? Okay. Okay, you guys, I am Tiffany Tremolaris for Channel 13 News, signing off on Taylor Swift News Hour. Goodbye.